Hiya! And welcome back to Echo. The game that at this point is just beyond fucked. As you could notice, we got our little chat head here. And let's just jump right in. I can still feel the stitches in my leg, even though I pulled out the little bits of line a half hour ago. Despite living here a vast majority of my life, even I had trouble figuring out where the hell we were. As I walk and the stinging throbs with every step, I close my eyes and realize how exhausted I really am. Running off extreme adrenaline for a day will take the wind out of you. So will multiple blows to the head and torture, apparently. I keep imagining that when I open my eyes, I'll be back in my dorm. I'll sit up from bed and Vincent will be tapping away at his laptop on the other side of the room. I'd tell him I had a fucked up dream and he'd tell me in that too cool for school tone to blog about it. The rhythmic tapping was at first really annoying, but now it's kinda like a white noise machine. It helps me sleep for some weird reason. Yeah? Maybe because it makes me feel like I'm not so alone. Chase. I inhale sharply, nearly tripping over a clump of weeds. Jenna places a precautionary arm out in front of me before easing back when she sees I've got my balance again. You still with us? She looks me up and down as if looking for signs that I'm turning into another Leo situation. Said wolf is still with us, ambling along like he can't even feel that half his leg was stitched to mine less than an hour ago. I look back to her, nodding. Yeah, okay, it's like a little too loud. Exhausted, but that's to be expected, I guess. Yo, is that theme for Lonely Wolf I hear? Ordinarily, I'd love a quiet walk with you at night. Though considering the circumstances, she pauses, looking over her shoulder. Well, it could be worse. You had a guardian angel. She noticeably stiffens as I bring up the topic of what just happened. I'm trying not to think about it. None of us had gone around to check out where Brian was dragged. In fact, we made a beeline in the opposite direction. Ordinarily, the lights of the town would guide us where to go, but everything's dark. The moon our only real source of light. And even that is partially obscured. The productive thing to do is to just think ahead right now. We'll come into town along the back roads, get to the motel, and take your car. I give her an affirmative thumbs up. Micah, meanwhile, is clutching his knife tight. It reminds me of how he was with the wrench earlier, when he was worried about Leo attacking him. Now the two walk nearly side by side. Everyone but Leo is rattled, that's for sure. I can't tell if it's the supposed hysteria's fault, or just a completely rational reaction to all the shit that's happened today. Micah's usually arrogant and gruff demeanor is replaced by a more timid posture, the bat rubbing his neck like he can't believe he's alive. I try to think of something to say as he turns to face me. Micah, I'm sorry about Keith. Yeah. He responds simply, sucking in his lower lip for a moment between one of his fangs before speaking again. Still not sure exactly what happened, but now I have a more definitive idea. He looks ahead again, shifting the topic. I had a dream about you, you know. Oh? After we spoke, I only got a little bit of sleep, but what I did dream stuck out to me. You were holding me underwater, drowning me. A cold chill creeps along my spine. Jenna looks over, raising her brow curiously at the bat. Leo stares straight ahead, unfazed. That's weird. Why are you telling me this? Micah waves his hand, dismissing my question as he continues. You were holding me underwater, and it was fucking terrifying because I couldn't breathe. Your hands around my throat felt exactly like that noose did, the way they bristled and cut into my neck. He points to matted fur around his throat, the pinkish, raw-rubbed flesh visible even in the dark. But talking emotionally and shit, I started feeling thankful? Thankful that I was killing you? That's rather macabre. The bat nods, seemingly well aware of how strange this sounds. Yet he doesn't relent, noting how exceptionally strange everything else has been lately. I'd be willing to take anything at face value at this point. Like you were freeing me. Real fucked up suicidal shit. When I was up in that noose though, I didn't want to die, so that part didn't translate. Honestly surprised I didn't piss and shit myself. Did you guys? Jenna stares blankly at him. No. I did not know. Leo, of course, is silent. Yo, did Leo shit himself? To think I almost left town a couple days ago, would have never gotten caught up in this mess. Well, why did you really disappear the first time, back in 2008? Micah fiddles with something in his pocket, taking it out and peering it over. I can't quite make out what it is. Something plastic and thick. A lot of reasons. My folks turned on me after finding out about some shit one night. Came home to find my room torn up, all my belongings outside. My mom wouldn't stop fucking bawling, screeched like a dying chicken at me. My dad, meanwhile, had this old police baton, kept coming at me with it whenever I tried to come inside. Kept screaming to let me in and apologizing for every little screw-up that I could think of. None of it worked. I tried to sleep on the porch, but Dad came out and started kicking me in the back till I left. Jenna grimaces. That's awful. Leo looks back over his shoulder, slowing his pace some to match ours. I can tell he's at least half listening now, no longer as spaced out. Keith was gone, and I didn't have anywhere else to go. Wasn't too popular, as I recall. Even with Heather, Clint, and Jeremy, they had their own problems. Should have told me. The words catch Micah by surprise, the wolf staring at him from across the shrubbery. Hey, I know we just survived a near-death experience together, but no need to be getting all retroactively sappy. We turn a small bend around a sandy embankment, some old car parts scattered in the underbrush. The moon is finally visible from behind Echo Canyon, and I can make out what Micah's carrying. Brian's cell phone. I guess he's going to try to take that in as evidence. As he moves to push it back into his pocket, it slips and clatters against a rock beneath him. Ah, fuck. I'll get it. Leo bends down, taking hold of the phone. The screen is shattered and a few slivers of glass fall to the ground. Damn it. The bat extends out his hand. Thanks. Leo doesn't budge, still staring at the shattered device. Then, from beyond the desert scrub and shattered car parts, a mechanical roar. Light flashes before us. Leo holds up his paw to shield himself from the light. It takes me just a moment to realize they're headlights, and the roar is the start of an old engine. It's a van, sitting right in front of us. And it's all too familiar. Okay, what the? Jenna reels back, eyes wide. I wasn't there a moment ago. She mutters, craning her neck some to peer through the red-tinted window to see who's behind the wheel. After a moment of inspection, it's clear that there's no one inside. Jenna. What? Jenna, this is the van from the dream. The one I told you about? Oh, come on. Jenna doesn't sound incredulous to my claim, just exhausted. She crosses her arms tightly over her chest, not letting her eyes leave sight of the idling vehicle. Okay then, what's it doing here? I don't have an answer for her, and therefore remains silent, stepping away from the front of the vehicle in case it somehow takes off. Micah, meanwhile, looks confused. He peers around, his yellow eyes bright and shimmering in the focus of the headlights. What the fuck? I know where we are. But we were heading into town, toward the motel. How the fuck are we here? We didn't cross the highway, did we? I look to our east, and sure enough, there it is. The weathered asphalt of Route 65. I would have noticed if we crossed pavement. Someone would have. It's the complete opposite direction that we should be heading. Jenna gasps, seemingly realizing this is a little after the rest of us. We've been here before. Leo speaks up, clutching the side of his head with a wince. You recognize it too, right? Leo still sounds half asleep, turning to face us. Though it appears he's only speaking to Micah and I. The bat blinks. Oh, fuck. You dreamed about this too, Chase? I swallow and nod, clutching my clammy paws against my shirt. I think so. The dream from earlier had already begun to fade from my memory, as most dreams do. But the way I felt watching it is still very clear, and this whole scene is starting to give me some serious deja vu, or something like it. There was an albino guy. He had bright red eyes and got ran over. The van's motor continues to idle, humming as it waits. Mine was a little different. Micah doesn't elaborate. No, we've been here before in real life. Implying that this is not real life? Micah glances over at the wolf and the two exchange a look for a moment. Jenna steps forward and tugs at the driver's side door. It opens with a quiet creak, some errant cobwebs fraying apart as the door is pulled fully open. She squints at something by the wheel, then reaches in and taps it. Keys are in the ignition, and there's this big red glare on the dash. Maybe a check engine light? She frowns to herself. It looks like this thing hasn't been used in a while. Sans whoever turned this on, but I'm no mechanic. If only there were one among us now. Among us. Leo? She pokes her head out, raising an inquisitive brow at the wolf. You're welcome to take a look if you're feeling up to it. She eyes Leo up, examining his physical condition. Her expression is a mixture of skepticism and concern. Leo begins to limp toward the van, and Micah quickly steps up beside him to keep him from tipping over. He grunts appreciatively in response, speaking up. It's probably not a check engine light. What makes you say that? Those didn't really exist back when this was made, before the mid-90s. Are you guys thinking we can drive this out of Echo? I'm a little more concerned with wondering who turned this on in the first place, and how we even got here. But that's an optimistic thought, Chase. So maybe this is a gift horse that we're looking squarely in the mouth right now. Doubt it. Micah rasps, helping Leo prop himself against the driver's side door as Jenna steps aside. The light. Looks like it isn't coming from the dash. Leo clumsily grasps the steering wheel, peering closer. It's like it's being reflected off the odometer, but I don't see a direct source. How can Leo see clearly at all after repeated blows to the head may be the real question here. That's fucking weird. A shuffling noise comes from the back of the van, and everyone freezes. There's a raggedy fabric partition hiding everything past the front seats from view. Gingerly, Leo pulls it aside and squints into a red light illuminating his face. Is anyone back there? Leo doesn't immediately respond, and I can't see him well from where I'm standing. I limp my way up beside Jenna. Leo? She inquires again, more urgent. No, not right now. There is something back there, though. Well, that's obvious enough. I'm too big to squeeze between the seats. Gonna go around. Everyone takes a step back out of the way now. Seemingly coherent wolves. Fuck, I can't speak. Everyone takes a step back out of the now seemingly coherent wolf's way as he exits the van. Fucking deja vu something fierce right now. You too? Jenna gives us both a quizzical look as Leo braces the handle of the rusted van door and gives it a yank. At first it doesn't budge, but after another hard tug, the door flies open, one door partially unhinged as it dangles to the side. There's something standing in the middle of the van, on 3 spindly legs. The red light projects from something on the top, and it begins to flash on and off. A camera on a tripod? At first I think it's mine, but upon closer inspection, it looks like an older model. No fucking way. Micah quickly backs away, nearly tripping over a prickly pear cactus in his haste. Nope, this isn't real. Everyone pack it up. We're being filmed? What is this? Some elaborate prank show? This is 100% not funny. Leo says nothing, climbing up into the back of the van and turning the display monitor on the camera around. On it, a little red dot on the corner flashes on and off, in time with illumination with the rest of the cab. The display screen itself shows us standing there at the back of the van, where the image is fuzzy, distorted. I wonder how long this has been here. That's my camera! Micah shouts in surprise, looking briefly to the rest of us before lowering his voice some. Or, well, the high school's camera, but they were shit at keeping inventory. I ditched it after my folks kicked me out. Okay, but what's it doing here? And why is it recording? Judging by the looks on everyone's faces, I don't think anyone has an answer to that. Leo brings a heavy pop to his eyes, rubbing them some before peering at Micah, then the screen, then back again. Micah cants his head some at the wolf, letting out a slow exhale. Either this is one fucked up joke, wolf boy, or I'm beginning to think this is the Hum's doing. The Hum. He mentioned that before, by the motel. Wow, haven't heard that word in a while. What's the Hum? It's hard to describe. Bad dreams, like we talked about before. Feels kinda like Vision Quest shit. Real spiritual stuff that Keith talked about a lot. Wasn't good vibes though, bad energy only. Thing is, it only really happens when you're sleeping, and I'm wide-ass awake. He extends his arms out to his sides for a moment before gripping the van's door, thumbing at the chipping paint. I haven't thought about that in a while. Jeremy and Adam talked about it when I was younger, after I mentioned seeing the thing we just saw a half hour ago. She wants to say, but she still visibly can't quite accept that. Not yet. You know what? I don't, but as I was saying, you can kind of tell when it's happening, because it's more than just a nightmare. Your ears start buzzing. Like, one of them orchestra bands tuning up. Violins in your skull, you know? A creeping sensation that I know exactly what he's talking about builds in my gut. You hear it too? What, like right now? Leo stares for a moment before nodding. One of the bat's large ears flicks and he turns his head from side to side. I don't think so. He pauses. Maybe. Might be the engine. He shifts attention back to the vehicle, yanking on the van's doors some. The spooky-ass ghost van engine. The metal frame of the van seems to rattle in response, though that might just be my imagination. Sometimes I'd go out into the hills and just camp out away from home, because the hum wasn't as bad there. Heather did it a bunch with me too, though she had her other reasons. Jenna nods, exhaling slowly before crossing her arms over her chest. So I suppose then you have a theory about all this. One based in, what, Masita spiritualism? Honestly, I thought it was like radon poisoning or something. But you get the hum in a few other places around town too. I've slept all over. The rail yard, the lake, this van, they're all real hummy places. You've slept in this van before? Despite everything that's happening, the idea that anyone would want to take a nap in this creepy thing is dubious at best for Jenna. Well, Micah trails off. For one usually so coarse and brazen, his seeming awkwardness right now feels out of place for him. We both have. Briefly. Leo places the flat of his palm on the bed of the cab. Flattened cardboard boxes and ratty bits of fabric that must have once been blankets or towels cover the surface. Large canine's brow furrows some, and finally he looks back up at all of us. It may just be me, but he doesn't seem as sluggish anymore. Jenna lets out an exhausted, amused noise, letting her arms flop down to her sides. Truly, I'm not sure I see the appeal. Leo and Micah look at each other. There's a silence. Wait, hold on. You're not saying... Also stupid. We were both stupid. Micah squeezes the bridge of his nose, closing his eyes as if cringing at himself. I was such a skeevy little bitch back then. I don't know why I pushed... No, I didn't mean for that, Micah. I mean for what happened after. You had it rough and I didn't care, or if I did, I didn't want to cause what happened at the party. I feel like an outsider looking in at some intimate conversation I don't understand, which is a feeling I can't say I've felt when I'm around Leo. He'd always go out of his way to include me in everything. What party? What are you guys talking about? Chase, 2008, that Dia de los Muertos party at the Parsons warehouse. The one where you told me you were gay, the night we got together. I blink. My parents had caught me watching gay porn that morning on the computer, and I was afraid to come home to them, so I went to some party at Parsons. The night itself is kind of a blur. I remember getting in a very brief fight with the guy who dumped me on TJ, and then waking up with Leo over me, eyes full of concern. Somehow, I ended up confiding everything to him about me being into guys. He apparently had a hunch about it, and the next thing I knew, he was ushering me out of the old warehouse to walk home with him. We kissed in the rail yard by his house, and that was the start of our relationship proper. Still, something seemed to bit off about that party and the way Leo was acting. I think I remember some dude trying to come up to talk to him, and Leo telling him off before insisting that I not ask about it. He seemed really serious at the time. Didn't want to ruin a good thing, or something like that. I didn't get a good look at the guy he talked to, but he was carrying a camera? The wolf taps the side of the tripod with his fingertips. Leo, you are reprehensible. Jenna's voice is cold and curt. Jenna? Shut up. Jenna looks taken aback, but only for a split second before shaking her head in disbelief. Leo winces, clutching his wounded head, his reddish eyes flicking up to meet mine. I shouldn't have agreed to it. I was just... Jenna quickly interjects, stepping in front of me. No, Leo, this whole week has just proven to me time and time again that you're just... She stares, letting out a hot puff of air between her lips before spreading her arms wide. Just perfect for Echo. You truly, truly belong here. You know that? God, how old were you then? How old was Micah? Did you even care? Fucking hell, are you about done? The bat pivots on his heel away from the van to face Jenna, his eyebrows narrowed beneath his bangs. Look, you don't know me. I ain't some fucking victim. Shit was my choice. What? What was your choice? Chase, you're an absolute idiot sometimes. Jenna sounds very disgusted. I frown at her, wondering what the fuck I did wrong. And I abandoned you. Jenna visibly seethes. None of this, she points to the rusty van, that same red light flashing on and off, makes any sense. But all your actions completely do. You are just all so perfect for this town, thinking any of that was okay. She throws up her hands, legs shaking with frustration. Is she including me in this? It isn't. I'm gone. Done. Jenna. She turns to leave, though a crackling from the front of the van brings her to a halt. Hey. From the console, the distorted voice I've become all too familiar with rings forth again. It's coming from the old radio, the audio crackling through dusty speakers. Oh no. Oh no. Jenna recognizes it instantly and begins stepping back away from the van again. We should go. Now. Her voice is shaky. The air itself seems fuzzy, electric, like I'm breathing in hundreds of tiny strands of vibrating twine. It sounded like Chase. Hi. Wait, is this the mystery machine? I don't know. Leo is the only one to outright respond back, and Micah looks at him with a bewildered expression. Don't talk to the hum. It's Chase. Chase is right there, dipshit. He gestures to me, still standing gobstopped at the back of the van. Leo slowly looks back at me, squinting at my chin within my eyes. It's me. Let's go home. He sees that it isn't my mouth moving, and his eyes widen a little more. A small line of blood runs down from a spot just behind his ear, down to his jaw. I promise I won't bring it up again. Let's go home. Who gives a fuck what the others say? You know I'm right. I remember saying those exact words after Flynn blasted us for skipping Jenna's birthday party in 10th grade. I'd convinced Leo to hang out with me instead. I was addicted to private time with him. I promise I won't bring it up again. We're all silent, staring at the dark cab where the noise is coming from. Except for Leo. He's looking directly at me. Leave. Why? He asks me. I'm not sure what to say. It's not me speaking, but those are my words. Everything feels hazy. Hazy and wet. Micah leans his head into the van, trying to get the wolf's attention. Leo, Keith always said not to talk to the hum. That's what the shit is, no doubt. The hysteria. It has a voice? Apparently, it's your fucking voice, Chase. No wonder everyone's so damn riled up about you coming back. But why me? Do I look like some kind of Masita Wiseman? Micah grunts, fidgeting from foot to foot. Despite his demeanor, he's definitely visibly unnerved by all this. I'm parroting shit I heard from a guy who's probably dead. For a while, when I was younger, I thought I heard Keith's voice too, telling me the shit I wanted to hear, but that shit wasn't good for me. So, I got the fuck out of town. Jenna throws her hands up, squeezing the pendant on her necklace. I can't handle this. I'm going to do it the spooky van once and leave. It's not the van. A voice in my head speaks, softly, like a whisper from right behind my ear. It's a masculine voice, but not my own. An older man with kind of an old Western accent. Familiar. Glancing back, there's no one there. Without thinking, I speak. It's not the van. And how do you know that? I don't know. I admit. There's a long silence and Leo's tail curls inward. He's biting the inside of his cheek, thinking hard. Finally, he looks me in the eyes again. It's me. That thing, it follows me. I thought it was you, but it's not you. You're different now. He gesticulates in my direction. Leo, Please, be quiet for a sec, eh? Leo interrupts the otherworldly voice like he's shushing a small child. Now he's looking at me, but his gaze seems to shift toward the horizon. 1,000-yard stare. Chase, you all left and it was never the same. Oh my god. So I tried to cope. I remember all the stuff you used to say to me, even the naggy shit, all your banter. Hell, I imagine every day at work that you're there with me, talking to me while I'm fixing cars. Oh god, why am I crying? I swear, I'm tearing up right now. I pretend I'm teaching you about the basics, like changing oil or replacing headlights. I know it's not riveting stuff, but in my head, you love me and I love you. There's just some distance, that's all. Then I drive home, listening to whatever's on the radio, and I imagine you reacting to it, groaning every time the word truck is mentioned in a country song, or making some snide-ass remark about the political ads. A little smile curls up along his jowls, though it diminishes as quick as it forms. That little drop of blood running down the fur on his cheek finally splatters on the cab floor beneath him. When I get home, I go online, and there's this pulling in my chest. Like a dread, you know? I click on the social media shit, and it's you. The real you. And you're different. You're wearing new shirts, hanging out with new friends, drinking fancy college beers, growing terrible facial hair. I touch my goatee briefly. Micah gives me a sidelong glance. And it feels like I'm losing you all over again. So I just avoid it. I pretend. I pretend that we still drink together on the patio as the sun goes down on Saturdays. I pretend that you're there beside me at home, watching me play my games. And I pretend at night that pillow I've got in my arms wrapped around is you, making your little irk noises you do when I ruffle your head fur or squeeze you. Leo plants his rump against the side of the cabin, sliding down to a sitting position as he clutches his head. And one day, you started talking back. At first it was quiet, in the back of my head, not even really noticeable, and over time it just got more real, yeah? Soon I was looking in mirrors and seeing you standing there, a reflection in a window or a pool of water. Sometimes I swear you could even touch me, but it wasn't you, not the real you. It was the you I wanted you to be, this perfect, subservient thing, but it didn't make me happier. It was just a dream. A dream that kept blurring between, what was real and what wasn't. And so I wanted to see you, the real you, to, I don't know, get a grip, fix me, but it just made things worse when you didn't give a shit. And I would smile and you would look away, and you take every chance to hang with others instead of me. His eyes flick briefly toward Jenna before trailing back down to the space between his feet, the wolf breathing slowly. These past few days, it's been unlike anything I've ever felt before. I'd forget what was real and what wasn't, and it'd drive me up the walls, you know? So sorry, He rubs his face. Fuck. The wolf goes still, the gravity of his word rendering everyone silent, even the radio. Jenna, who seems to be constantly wavering between lingering and noping the fuck out of here, glances back over her shoulder. Her grievances with Leo and Micah are apparently lessened in the face of continued paranormal onslaught. So this thing that we're seeing, as manifested by the hum, is some sort of tulpa? A tulpa? The name sounds familiar, like something Carl mentioned to me in passing. In layman, a more advanced version of an imaginary friend. The fennec frowns deeply, thinking. The process of induction, visualization, thought form, and other mental forcing can stimulate these sorts of psychosomatic happenings. Generally, you see it with people who say they talk to Jesus, or other religious icons that encourage prayer and meditation upon idols. You're saying I'm like some kind of fuck. You're saying I'm like some kind of worshipped idol? Jenna sighs as Leo slinks down a little. Sure. That still doesn't explain why we can see and hear this thing. Honestly, it's more likely we're enduring some sort of collective traumatic hallucination. What's scary? Oh, the sound? Yeah, that was my trash can. I'm so sorry. I hit it. Right now I'm just spitballing here to rationalize this. She swirls her paw in the direction of the van. A person that others can see and interact with, born from a dream. We watch the radio, though it doesn't chime in. I think it's gone. Another silence. Finally, Micah speaks up. Jesus fuck, Leo. Can't you just print out Chase's yearbook picture and tape it to a fleshlight like a normal person? Micah, now isn't the time, but we needed that. Leo looks to Micah, his tired, wounded face slipping into a grin before he starts to chuckle. It's the first bit of proper laughter I've heard from him in days, even if it is bittersweet. Micah, I'm sorry. Dude, for real, it's fine. Micah watches. Okay, I just read that, and first thing that came to mind was Filthy Frank and his Weeaboos video, where he's like, hey, if you watch a little hentai on the side, man, we don't judge. That was the first thing that came to mind as soon as I read that chat. Michael watches Leo with some wariness in his golden eyes, crossing his tattooed arms over his chest. Nah. What do you mean, nah? Nah, we may have just been messing around, but you had shit rough at home. Everyone knew it. And I just didn't want to think about it, yeah? You just disappeared one day, and that was that. But you were small, didn't have nobody to turn to. I should have been there for you. Micah scuffs his foot against the dirt, looking a mixture of frazzled and embarrassed at the conversation taking place. We didn't have that kind of relationship, not like you and Chase had. Relationship? The bat looks at me, quickly clarifying. It wasn't really a relationship or nothing. That was a bad word to use. Just two kids who both knew they liked dudes and experimenting. Holy shit, Micah's gay? Holy fuck. There's a twisting sensation in my chest as I look at both of them, then imagining them in the van. Right before what was essentially the most romantic night of my life. The day I felt most loved and special out of any. With a $700 camera and a 3-year age difference. Micah ignores Jenna. Judging by your expression, I'm guessing he never told you. I don't blame him. Leo scoots himself to the back of the van, hanging his legs off the end as he looks to me. And I should have. I just didn't want to lose you, you know? He's looking at me now. And yet he lost you anyway. Oh. It's all I can manage to say. Leo turns his attention back to Micah. I'm no replacement for Keith, but I should have helped you get back on your feet. Introduced you to the group. Dios, you and Chase would have gotten along after a while. Didn't you want to be a journalism major? Jenna, despite the apologetic tone of Leo, definitely doesn't seem eager to stick around for this conversation. Man, that was a lifetime ago. We could have taken your feral ass in, shown you how society works. Come on, you probably don't even know how to do your taxes. Micah clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth. Kind of like how Leo does. Fuck taxes. Government ain't getting shit. Anyway, he clears his still raspy throat, wincing as he swallows. If you want to get ahead in life, you can't rely on others. You gotta get it for yourself. He passes a glance toward Jenna for a moment. We did. I chime in, still trying to wrap my head around that revelation from earlier. Micah looks like he's about to snap back with something biting, but just waves it off with a flop of his hand. Anyway, if you wanted forgiveness, you got it. Let's just put some distance between us and this hum hotspot. Okay? Please. Micah grunts once, beginning to walk off behind Jenna. After a moment, he slows some, looking back at Leo. Glad you, finally woke up, though. Jenna rubs her face into the pads of her paws. She's shaken, nerves frazzled. Micah and Leo, too. Oh, I just feel numb. All this insane shit is happening around me, and it's like a dream. Something not even real. There's a layer of separation between what I perceive and what's really occurring in front of me. Watching a playback of memories projected right onto my own eyes. It's not the first time I felt like this, even outside of the supposed hysteria, but it's never been so strong. But as I glance behind me, the van's still there, real as ever. Micah and the newly sobered Leo walk on ahead. Maybe it's like a mind field, you know? Projecting thoughts and shit for everyone to see. Yeah, just think real hard about Carl. We can take a spooky fucking doppel home with us instead. Save us some trouble. Shadow Carl. After a while, I can't make out what they're saying. They're talking with a more serious tone, their voices lowered. I'm not sure if I even want to know what they're discussing now. As we approach the edge of the old highway, my eyes settle upon a small mound of dirt with a carefully placed stone on the center. I'd walked down this stretch of Route 65 about a dozen times growing up, and I've seen this before, but was never curious enough to investigate. There's something about it that's drawing my attention, and then I realize why. The dream from last night. The grave! That's the spot. I stop, the others still walking ahead. They're following the road now back to town, or at least until we get to the railroad crossing. Then we can follow that. I look back to the mound of dirt and am compelled to approach it. Without really thinking, I'm on my knees. Dig. What? I mean, I don't have much of a choice, right? The next thing I know, I'm scooping the tips of my paws through the packed soil, digging up dirt and tossing the clumps aside. I don't know why I'm doing this. I close my eyes, trying to snap out of it. It doesn't help, and soon there's this musty smell in the air, like the inside of an old attic. I've managed to dig about a foot down into the earth so far, and the smell is only growing stronger. At about 2 feet, something solid touches my fingertips. Oh my god. I keep going, dusting off dirt around whatever it is. The surface is curved and cracked in places, like pottery. Even before I get all the dirt off, I have a hunch of what it is. 2 empty sockets stare up at me, and I stare back. Hello. A voice plays in my head, much more profound than I've ever heard it before. After all this time, to end up here. The voice almost sounds like it sighs and goes silent. Are you the guy in the grave? I ask the voice, which rings more clearly with each passing word. The way he sounds, it's like he's right here, despite the unnatural cadence. The voice in my head? I whisper to the skull, compelled to touch it. Any skin or fur has long since rotted away, and the head itself is a yellowed ivory color. His clothes, from what are visible, are in tatters. Remnants of a button-up shirt and suspenders can still be seen. The voice doesn't respond, so I ask another question. Who are you? A tumbleweed rolls by along the road in front of me, the others getting further and further away. Instead of responding, I feel myself begin to dig further down, scooping out a few more mounds of dirt until something leather and small can be seen. A hardy little wallet with a snake emblem pressed into the center. Flipping it open, several business card and dollar bills practically dissolve in the exposed air, although there is plastic ID card in the back. It's a driver's license, clearly decades old, with the faded ink of several stamps covering most of it. What text can be seen is in that old-timey typewriter font. I let my thumb across the surface, wiping away the dirt and grime. Samuel Ayers, date of birth 1890. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. It's this. It's this bitch. It's this bitch. I fucking knew it. Fuck. Check back up. Everyone loves Sam. There's a little picture of an elderly pale feline with the stark reddish-looking eyes that remind me slightly of Leo's. He looks haggard and sad. Ancient, really. A relic of another time. The man from my dreams. I should be terrified, but again, I still feel disconnected. A passive viewer who can only sometimes speak without any control. Now you know how I feel. I managed to swallow peering into those sockets like they were looking back at me. I've never met a ghost before, I remark quietly. Not a ghost. Then what are you? Another drawn-out silence, though this time I waited out. Maybe something like that thing on the radio in the van. Just older and changed now. It's gone, but I'm still here, clinging to you like a lifeboat in open water. We've been together for some time. Didn't see one another for a while, but you came back. They always come back. Together? I don't... I trail off, trying to wrap my head around what he means. What's really happening? Okay, is this like... I keep thinking, like, is this Undertale level bullshit? I lean back some, feeling less resistance on my movements. I feel weird, like I'm not really here. You've felt this way for a while now. It always happens like this over time. Here it's just a little stronger. With me. My gaze is pulled down to the license in my grip. Again, I read the name. Samuel Ayers. He goes quiet for a moment, then speaks up again. With him. His voice falters, a strange conveyance of emotion in his otherwise stilted, monotone presentation. I speak up again. There's something wrong with me. It's like I'm not doing things on my own anymore. You're not. I'm with you. You are indecisive by nature. What? How? I choose. That doesn't make any sense. Why are we connected? How do I make this all go away? He says nothing, but I can hear him rumbling, stirring. At least 15 seconds pass before Red said stirring turns into words. You came back to find the truth. Or that's what you told yourself. Yet you've known it all along. You just bury it, over and over again. Each failing, uncomfortable moment, or horror. You can't face anything. You're just like him. The man with the hat that's always too tight. Brains splattered on fresh grass, pine needles, and a whimpering child. I don't... You are weak. You are pathetic. There's a pause, and again his tone shifts, a deviation from his uniform speaking pattern. His voice sounds softer, distant, like an echo of something said far away. Be safe, kid. Before I have time to comprehend anything, I hear footsteps upon the asphalt in front of me. Chase, what are you still doing back here? What are you looking at? Jenna steps closer, peering into the little hole I had dug. She thins her lips. Oh! What's going on? Leo's booming voice calls out from down the highway, the wolf looking back at us. Jenna just stares at the desiccated remains for a moment before calling back. Chase dug up an old corpse! Chase dug up an old corpse. God damn it, Chase. Is Chase like the family dog that just pissed on the couch now? It's like the sitcom where it's like, oh yeah, Jenna is the mom. God damn it, Chase, got off the couch. Jenna sighs, resting her paws on her knees and letting her head hang down. What he said. She looks up after a moment, spying the card in my hand. Is that an ID? Yeah, Samuel Ayers is the name. I think he's the one who got hit by the van. Oh. She looks off to the side. Great. Huh? What, Chase? She responds, exasperated. Don't you care? Someone died here. I think he matters somehow. To me. Chase, we have almost died tonight, and we are still in a very unpredictable and dangerous situation. She crouches down beside me, with mental states that can be charitably described as less than optimal. Carl is in serious trouble, and we know where he is. This, right here, she taps the ID card in my paws. We can make a little note of it in our heads and bring it to the proper authorities later. She barely glances at the license, standing back up and offering me a hand. Come on, Chase. With a knot in my stomach, I take her hand and use her weight to rise up without putting too much strain on my injured leg. She just got the spray bottle and sprayed him off the couch. But I think this guy's in my head. Please don't say that. She responds curtly as Micah arrives beside her, Leo hobbling at his side. You okay, Otter? I look at him for a long moment and answer honestly. I don't know. Same. Let's just get going, okay? Chase, you can keep leaning on me if it hurts to walk. I give her a grateful nod as I rest an arm on her shoulder. Thanks. As we head off, Micah lingers a little behind us, staring into the shallow grave. He steps off the road, pushing the dirt I'd removed back into the hole with a few hasty swipes of his foot. Before anyone can ask what he's doing, he catches back up with us, staring straight ahead. We've been walking for what feels like ages, the moon still high in the sky and the taste of water in the air. Maybe it will rain. After we got switched around and ended up on the wrong side of the highway, we realized we were much closer to Heather's than the motel. So, to Tetanus Alley we go. I keep playing back that conversation earlier in my head, that voice seemingly activated when I found the skeleton. I've heard it 1,000 times before, but I always had assumed it was me, my subconscious. A particularly bitter side of myself that would chime in every now and then add an insult to injury. Really, lives out in the boonies, doesn't she? Leo winces some as he walks, no longer using Micah as a walking crutch. Yeah, I don't get out here often. Be wary, though. Apparently she's got a gun, so no threatening movements or anything if we see her. Clint's got one, too. Should have swung back around to my place so that I could grab my piece. Leo, for God's sake, we are not getting in a firefight tonight. Bet my aim's better than two junkies with pop guns. Jesus Christ, Leo, now isn't the time for a pissing contest. Oh yes, the heavily concussed hobbled wolf definitely has the advantage over Clint and Heather, both of which spend a considerable portion of their free time shooting random objects in a trailer park. Bro, like I said, it's literally a pissing contest right now. I know, because I grew up listening to it. She ain't lying, at least for Clint, and he ain't no fan of you. Should probably let me do the talking. Didn't you betray them? I think I might be the better person for this. The neutral party, so to speak. Yeah, but I know them. I can sort this shit out quick-like. Who do we trust? Jeremy's her brother, and Clint is Jeremy's best friend, and presumably Heather listens to both of them. She's not really been involved in any of the drama so far, so I trust her to get this taken care of. I look down at Jenna, whom I am currently leaning against. She can put her degree to work. Oh God, don't put it like that. For the last time, I don't study any of that interpersonal communication business that shrinks handle. I lean more towards neuroscience anyway. So Rich Goat is in great hands then. Nice. Micah responds tersely, Jenna giving him quite the side eye. Gotta get that side eye. She still seems pretty disgusted with him and Leo for the van revelations. And the further we get away from it, I'm starting to feel myself get more and more ill at the thought. The camera. Jesus. Yo, do they record themselves having sex? or something. Like, did they film a porno? Because that'd be awful and I think illegal. Leo had asked if we ever wanted to film anything before when we were together, but I always said no. I shut my eyes, trying not to think about it. Focus. Just gotta find Carl. A long, curvy gravel road leads halfway up the quarter-mile loop that is Jasmine Street. At this section, several mobile homes are dotted along its length, though most are empty and dilapidated. They generally serve as squatting grounds for seasonal transients. A little pink house stands out among the rest, with a big utility vehicle parked out front. Never actually been inside before. We should be careful. The front door's open. What? Jenna points, and sure enough, the double doors leading into the house are cracked open. The doors themselves are strangely ornate, painted like a drawbridge with big knockers on both sides. A creeping sense of dread begins to dawn upon me. Hunker down. Let's get ready. And so we do. Well, as much as I'm willing to do with my leg still feeling like it's on fire. I could even see Leo wincing as he crouches down in front of some shrubbery. You guys all good for this one? Yeah. It's just like I got bit by 20 fire ants. There's probably something we can wrap your legs up with inside. And the tips of your fingers, Batty? Batty? Said Bat gives Leo an incredulous look before letting out a little harumph and facing forward again. I swear, Micah is now the gayest one here. I squint past the two of them through the brush, and I can make out the text and logo on the utility vehicle. It says, the Reclamation Bureau, with little river insignia surrounded by the national flag. Jenna squats down beside me, her ear twitching. She quickly peers over her shoulder, staring hard at something behind us. I follow her gaze, though all I see is the vast stretch of desert between us and Lake Emma. Micah looks too, letting out a little gasp. Who the fuck? What? I don't see anything. Shush. Jenna places her paw up to my lips. I frown, peering past her fingers into the dark. Finally, I can hear something. Twigs snapping, quick footsteps, and maybe some panting. There's a rumbling behind it too, that sounds almost mechanical in nature. My first thought is the van from earlier. Whoever turned it on, had they gotten it running and followed us here? The silhouette of a figure emerges through the sagebrush, its motions frantic. Eventually, I can see its eyes, which are familiar bright blue. It's TJ! Oh my god. I just want to, hug him. And never let go of him now, because he's baby. Tej! Leo quickly runs up to catch the flailing feline, only to be met with slashing claws that push him away. The wolf seethes audibly, stepping back. TJ, stop! It's us! He whispers sternly, trying to snap him out of what's come over him. TJ keeps looking over his shoulder, panicked. It's coming! It won't stop following me! TJ shouts, and Micah visibly flinches. Kid, shut the fuck up! He's hysterical. Yeah, so hit him or something! Leo blinks, frowning deeply as he tries to wrangle the cat by the scruff of his neck with little success. What? I am not going to punch TJ. Oh, so you get to beat up my friends and it's totally fine. Micah's grumbling trails off into a disgruntled mumble as TJ yowls. If it means that TJ is baby again, I will gladly just sock him in the nose if it means he will be baby again. He keeps trying to scramble away, kicking up clouds of dust everywhere. The cat looks horrible. Goathead brambles stuck in his fur, tumbleweed sticks in his shirt, his pants ripped at the seams. Looks like he's been out running in the wilds for a while. Oh my god, I have to make that now. I fucking have to make that now. Oh my god. Let me get the shit ready for it. Will Smith slapped. I have to make it now. I simply have to. Should we do this in like the stream software or in Photoshop? You know, I'm going to do it in the stream software because I'm lazy. But we're making this. We're like going to like pause the game and like make this right now because this needs to be made because it's beautiful. Okay, so we got I'm giggling like a little bitch right now. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my god, where is it? There we go. We just... Oh wait, it'll probably be easier to edit that, and I'll crop it real quick. It'll be easier to just... That fuck. I simply have to make this. So who would be bitch slapping TJ in this moment? Who would be the one to bitch slap him? Oh my god, this is taking forever. There we go. Who would be the one to bitch slap TJ? Y'all give me someone to... Who have we seen the back of their head? Let me check. Let me check real quick. Well, I could just steal some art. I don't feel like it. I mean, I steal art anyway, so what's the big deal? But, so far, none of them, so I'm just going... Leo NSFW pictures. Bro! This is Echo we're talking about. There's no NSFW in this game other than some few spicy writing stuff. But I'm just going to, like, find a picture of, like, Leo smiling. No. Young Chase smiling. I don't know why, but that, like, gives me some sort of funny feeling. So I'm going to, like, make that real quick. It's under TikTok shit. Young Chase. Select this bitch. Just like put him there. Right click, transform, edit transform, and just... Ah, fuck. Ah, shit. Ah. Oh my god. We also have to add the eye lasers. We simply have to have the eye lasers. We have to add eye lasers. It's a simple requirement. Image. Browse. Keep my husband's name out yo fucking mouth. I like that. And there we go. Okay, let me like get rid of all this. I like clipped it, so it's still there. Just in Twitch now. Jenna squeezes my shoulder some before moving from my side, approaching the increasingly feral-looking lynx. TJ, it's me, Jenna. She speaks softly, a calming tone to her voice. I'm here with Leo, Chase, and our new friend Micah. You're okay. The rumbling sound is getting closer. Soon I can see headlights gleaming across the desert. It's a pickup truck, and it's not even on the roads. The driver just careening through the desert straight toward us. TJ's eyes bulge, head swiveling toward the sound even as Leo wrestles him to his knees. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! It's the thing! It's the thing from... He breathes in sharply, looking at me for a moment. The monster! The monster? Jenna repeats, peering at the approaching truck. Fuck, is that Jeremy and Clint? No. She lets out a relieved sigh. I recognize that busted grill. The vehicle begins to slow until it rolls into idle and parks about 10 meters from where we're squatting. A towering figure emerges from inside, a rifle in his hands. It's Flynn! Hi, Flynn. Fucking hell. Flynn blinks at us all, then shifts his attention back to TJ. The lynx is staring at him as if he is just the horror of all horrors, jaw agape and silent scream as he rides in Leo's grasp. Flynn! Jenna growls. I guess we're all just hollering now. Micah briefly glances over his shoulder toward the house, no movement inside. What did you do? What did I do? I sure as shit would like to know. 1 minute we're searching for Carl, the next he's just staring at me with that crazed look in his eyes. He started crying, snotting all over the place. I've been chasing this little shit for fuck knows how long while this whole town is falling apart. Lost him for a bit, so I went home and grabbed my repeater. Flynn holds up his rifle, and I can see it's pretty damn old-timey looking. Like the sort you see in old westerns, with metal that looks more brassy than iron. He shifts his gaze from TJ to the rest of us, then frowns. The fuck you guys been up to? No one immediately speaks. To be fair, I'm not quite sure how to answer either. It would take hours to summarize everything that's happened since Flynn and TJ were around. Surviving. I rub the back of my neck. But we found Carl. You did? Flynn perks right up, the visible exhaustion he'd worn like a second skin seeming to dissolve right off him. Yeah, Flynn. I found your boyfriend. Where'd you been at this whole time? Where is he? I swallow, realizing how dry my throat is as I try to make the right words. Duke and my brother have him. Jenna interjects. We were briefly and unwillfully detained at Brian's. Carl was there, but Jeremy and Duke were told to take him to Heather's place. Hence, she gestures toward the pink house. Why we are here? You are fucking shitting me. We are not. Flynn is wrought speechless, bringing his fingertips to his forehead and gritting his teeth. This is so fucking nuts. He brandishes his repeater across his chest, pulling back the lever and changing his clip with an increasing look of trepidation on his face. Let's not waste any more time, then. He slams the clip back into place, stepping forward. TJ flinches, though the lynx looks less terrified and more confused now. Whoa there, Mayor's boy. Jeremy and Duke might be packing, and we know for sure Heather is. So slow your roll, yeah? Hearing this information, it looks like roll slowing is the exact opposite of what Flynn wants to do, but he does stop. Glancing back, he seems like he's about to snap at Leo, but spots his bloody leg and the swelling around his muslin forehead. His expression softens. Guys? Our attention shifts to the lynx cradled in Leo's arms, who is peering at us through bloodshot eyes. Oh my god! No! Tej? Leo loosens his grip on him, and the lynx props himself up on one knee, taking stock of his surroundings as if for the first time. Hello? Jenna exchanges a look with the rest of us before speaking. Welcome back to reality. That hum's nasty stuff, ain't it, kid? Hum? He clutches his ears. I don't know what you're talking about. Leo snaps his fingers a few times in front of the TJ's face before waving his paw in front of him. It's no longer TJ, it is now the TJ. TJ stares, flinching with a delayed reaction. Not too sure he's fully back with us just yet. Flynn swipes his hand through the air, grimacing. Okay, enough of this. Wolf Boy, what's the plan? I blink, realizing how naturally everyone defers to Leo when the going gets rough, just like when we were kids. I don't see Jeremy or Dukes right out front, so I assume they ain't here. We should take a look around inside, but we need to be careful. They could be back any minute. Yeah. We all begin to follow in line behind Leo, all of us pretty damn well aware our element of surprise is long gone. We're about to reach the open door when I notice that Jenna isn't with us. I glance back over my shoulder and see her, staring into the underbrush back by the truck. Everyone else starts filing in before I get a chance to get anyone's attention, so I wait outside for her. I wave, trying to get her attention. Sure enough, she finally looks my way and quickly scurries her way over to me. It's amazing how silent she can be, even while running. It's one of those enviable fox traits she has. It's tough to think of any aspect of foxes that's a hindrance, actually. What's up? I look at her, trying to keep my voice down. She peers at me with a scrutinizing expression, as if I'd said something rather offensive and she's waiting for me to talk my way out of it. Jenna? Oh, it's nothing. Nothing real. Huh? She walks in, not offering any elaboration. Come on. I sigh, following her. Jenna, I can't say I could have ever expected the interior of Heather's home to look like this, even having known her most of my life. The first thing that hits me is the smell. It reminds me of one of those fancy candle and soap stores at the mall, but with this sort of dusty, mildewy stank that lingers in my sinuses. I have an idea, but I don't think I can say it of what it is. So I'm just going to type it out, but even then, it rhymes like this. It rhymes with this. I think you all know what I'm talking about. It reminds, yeah. Very floral, overall. Potpourri, I think it's called. The next thing I notice is the decor. Much like the exterior, there definitely appears to be some kind of fantasy castle-like theming going on here. However, the person going for said theme is certainly no interior designer. Bubbly wallpaper, cheap knickknacks, and blurry printed JPEG pictures of fairy tale characters coat the walls. Pink pennant banners dangle from the ceiling, and crushed glitter can be seen reflecting from within the weaving of the carpet. It's like a child's birthday party took place here, but judging from the faded appearance, it's been like this for a while. As I glance to my left, I notice an entire wall has been knocked down, the structural framing the structural framing inadequately hidden by flower-coated curtains. Beyond said curtains is a large chair and a long red rug leading up to it. It takes me a moment to realize that it's supposed to be some kind of throne, lit harshly by the bright white fluorescent lights. Despite the attempted fanciful presentation, cluttered floors hinder whatever intended effect of opulence they were trying to go for. I can see old VHS tapes, candy wrappers, CRT monitors, disposable cameras, children's toys, all scattered about. Past the throne is what I think was supposed to be the living room. But instead of chairs, there's just this mattress on the floor, which is covered in throw pillows and beach blankets. I even recognize one as having the logo of Southwest Adventures. Seeing that makes me realize how long ago it feels like all of us were at that theme park, carefree for the most part. Flynn steps up to the knocked-down wall where Peter clutched under one arm. Guessing they didn't get a permit for this demo. As if on cue, a gust of rolling wind hits the house, and I can practically feel it shudder, unstable. The Gila quickly refocuses, keeping his slitted gaze pointed down the hall for any sudden movement. Beyond that, the house is quiet for the most part, outside of the occasional dripping noise coming from somewhere I can't see. Nuts. Completely nuts. Leo mutters, shaking his head at his surroundings. Yeah, none of us come here. Never actually been inside before. Heather's dad never lets anyone in. Now I can see why. Leo and the rest begin moving down the hall, while Jenna steps up beside me. She has a contemplative frown on her muzzle. It's kind of weird and familiar in a way. It's all I can say initially until I begin to start placing why. This place reminds me of old thrift stores and cheesy parties I went to as a kid. I can't imagine living here. It's not as dirty as I thought it would be. Jenna muses, though something catches her eye in the entranceway to the kitchen. Soon I'm following her, approaching what looks like a laminated colored pencil drawing posted on the wall with rainbow-colored tacks. King and Princess's Palace. Jenna's frown deepens. On the picture, there's a large, bespectacled feline man sitting on a grand golden throne. It's quite an upgrade from the dingy orange recliner draped in cut-up fabrics they've got out front, that's for sure. Next to him, sitting cross-legged, is what looks like a drawing of Heather. She's in a stereotypical pink princess gown, with a little tiara on her head. The two are holding hands. It's such a sentimental picture, it actually seems pretty sweet that even Heather has someone who cares about her enough as this. However, Jenna's dour expression does not relent. Was that supposed to say sour? She quickly turns, heading down the hall with the rest of the gang. Flynn and Leo continue to take point, the Gila keeping his rifle at the ready. Still, no sign of anyone, though. Part of me wonders how wise it is to be carrying a gun with all this mind-altering hysteria business going on. Flynn turning on any of us is pretty unfathomable, the lizard having always been all bark and no bite. Still, seeing one of my old friends brandishing a weapon, it's a weird feeling. I pop into one of the rooms along the main hall that still has the lights on. It looks like some kind of study, and it's much less cluttered than the rest of the house. There's a small desk beside the door with a laptop and a stack of papers next to it, most of them with Reclamation Bureau letterhead. At a glance, the documents mention things like water tables, hydrology reports, and map revisions for floodplain boundaries. It all sounds like pretty heady stuff. It's odd that Heather's dad lives in such a shitty place despite having such a technical-sounding job. TJ wanders in beside me, staring blarily into the empty room. I reach over, placing a paw on the lynx's shoulder. He flinches a little, but doesn't draw back. You feeling better, Tej? I ask, keeping my voice soft for his sake. Yeah. TJ responds, rubbing his arms. His fur looks puffier than usual, most likely the result of him being so on edge. I know we're looking for Carl, but I hope Heather's okay too. I withdraw my paw, giving him a sidelong look as I check behind a few places of furniture that are in here. Oh, I didn't figure you two were that close. At least not anymore. You don't have to be close to someone to be worried about them. I'm not about to argue with TJ on this one, but the way he speaks makes it sound like he's more reciting something than speaking from the heart. I step back out into the main area. Down the hall, I hear the clatter of falling boxes, followed by a hushed swear from Flynn. Watch your step. Get off my ass. My adrenaline buzz is wearing off. You can relax. It doesn't look like anyone's here. What? That doesn't mean you can fucking relax. It means that Carl is still out there with his crackhead fuck faces. I'm sure when he's dead, you'd relax plenty. Flynn. I can hear the lizard spit, cutting him off. Fuck you, Leo. Flynn, you know I didn't mean it that way. The bickering continues as I realize there's still a room at the back end of the hall with the lights on. I make my way over, stepping into the doorway and peering into the blackness as I fumble around for the light switch. Okay, I honestly thought this would be like something related to Sydney. Like this image file. Because like I think the image file is called It's Just a Friend Daddy. And that is the perfect place to leave off. I know, beautiful, excellent timing. But okay. Just needed to take a minute to breathe. Well, in either case, stay safe and have a good night.